Nighttime is the worst for me. That's when homeless people are hunted the most. It's illegal for us to sleep. Most of the bathrooms are closed, so it's illegal for us to not hold it in for 8 to 10 hours. And even when places with bathrooms open up, a lot of times we're not allowed. When I was in Denver following all that crap at Clearview, I was trying to get the Denver Post to listen to me. I had to pee so bad. They wouldn't allow me to use the bathroom in the building. I about peed myself. I was going to pee in their garbage can. Oh my God, I had to pee so bad. I was able to get outside and run across the street, every impact hurting my back so bad. And I finally made it over by a garbage can and peed in a cup. I was so glad I didn't get in trouble for that. It's illegal for me to do that. I know it's illegal for me to do that. What am I supposed to do? Piss my pants? So the hatred against the homeless. You can see in a lot of those videos with Zayd Atkinson, Zayd Atkinson. A lot of those comments in there, they're from people who say things like, that's what he gets for looking homeless. That's what he gets for dressing homeless. He deserved it for that. Really? So it shows the hatred towards the homeless. Those comments. People sticking up for the police for the brutality against the homeless because this man must have deserved it for looking homeless. That is so fucked up. And the fact is, he wasn't targeted for the color of his skin. He was targeted for looking homeless. It's illegal to be homeless. Literally. People in third world countries think that this is so great. It's not. It's not. The thing is that the homeless here are treated worse than people in third world countries. The police are allowed to kill us, and it doesn't even make the news. Meanwhile, how many of these school shooters were homeless? Oh yeah, none. Not even one. Not a single school shooter was homeless. But you guys want to treat the homeless like shit. Now, a lot of people are like, well, this wouldn't have happened if he was white. I call bullshit. It happened to me. It happened to Chris. It happened to Ben. It happened to a lot of white people too. White homeless people though. So it's okay. The hatred towards the homeless. I've shown that, yes, you victimize the homeless because you can't go after the people who actually did it. Your hatred towards the homeless and the media fanning the flames. Only the police side gets to be told. Only the police side gets to be shown. At least in Zayd Atkinson's case, people came together. But they didn't come together for Sammie Leon Lawrence. Now let me tell you something about Sammie. While Zayd's friend was taping the Boulder police, the Boulder police didn't assault him for holding a camera. When the Boulder police were harassing white homeless people in an even meaner fashion, I mean, if you look at that video, those cops are mostly just standing there with Zayd Atkinson. And you guys want to talk about how badly he was treated. His friend who was holding the camera wasn't assaulted, now was he? No, because he was in a house. Zayd gets all sorts of sympathy because he was in a house. And people still want to hate on him because he was looking homeless. Because he looks homeless. Just like that friend of Zayd's was taping what Zayd was going through. Sammie Leon Lawrence IV was videotaping what the Boulder police were doing to those homeless people. They were harassing those homeless people just as they harassed Zayd for looking homeless. It's because it's free money. It's free prestige. They go to a domestic violence call and they can't do anything about it. So they go and take it out on the homeless. All of you take it out on the homeless and say they wanted it, needed it, chose it, or deserved it. You know what the difference between you and the people on the streets is? The people on the streets know better. I know a lot of people who had a lot of really mean things to say about the homeless, how they deserve it, until they ended up homeless. And then they tell me, Sean, I didn't know it was going to be this way. Well, you should have believed me when I told you. When I told you the Boulder police were like this. You guys turned a blind eye. Now that it's all over the news, you still continue to try to discredit my words. I'm like this because of the abuse that I've endured and the fact that people in houses don't want to try to understand. Lana and Amanda treated me completely like shit because they didn't want to understand. They went out of their way not to understand, to punish me and belittle me and fucking treat me like shit because they didn't want to understand. All the work that I personally put in, that they say I did nothing. I went to those appointments. I didn't have a vehicle. So, Amanda drove me. The problem is, the help that I needed there, all of the things that I was jumping through those hoops there to get, I was no longer able to get. They were no longer valid as soon as I didn't have a place to go. When I wasn't able to go back there to Montana. In order for me to go back there to Montana, I would have had to go there and be homeless. Not have an address, not have anywhere for this stuff to send to. People keep saying you should put it in general mail and have it sent there. It's different when you have a house. You're considered a human being when you have a house. When you don't have a house, you must be a drug dealer, you must be a murderer, you must be a rapist, you must have wanted it, needed it, chose it, or deserved it. While everybody wanted to complain about how Zayd Atkinson was treated, while his friend who was videotaping, there was nothing done to him. Meanwhile, Sammie Leon Lawrence IV videotapes what the Boulder police are doing to some homeless people, white homeless people. And cops abuse the fuck out of him. This is not okay. When I said these things happen, it's because they happen. It's because we don't have family support. Natalie didn't have family support until she was dead. I needed help. I needed help showing what these people were doing to me before Natalie died. People want to throw me away because when they promised to help and didn't, it fucked me, and I expended my resources believing them when they said that they would help. My very limited resources. I'm not rich. I'm disabled. Now they got it on paper that it's illegal to do this stuff to physically or mentally disabled Americans. But you call them mentally ill instead, and it's fine. When I was at Shannon's, it didn't matter that she wasn't directing it at me. It mattered that it was happening. When I was at Tabby's, it didn't matter that Josh wasn't directing that at me. It mattered that he was doing it, that he was being abusive. That's why I needed that GoFundMe. That's why I was trying to get that going before Natalie died. That's why I went to Miss Peaches to get that started, so that I would have the money where I wouldn't have to go to people's houses who I have to be subservient there. I have to do what they want when they want. I'm not allowed to do the things that I do to help myself because they will judge me and punish me for it and go out of their way not to understand. Go out of their way to judge me and punish me and gang up on me. My dad was fucking physically abusive to me growing up. Now he's mentally abusive because it's all he's got left. He can't fight his way out of a wet paper bag. So I had two choices. I could either take the abuse from my father while I was up there, or I could leave. After investing the time and money to get there, he just wanted to be abusive. And when I asked him to stop, that was his cue to push it harder and harder and harder. And become more abusive and call me a pussy and stand in my way so that I couldn't leave. The least he could have done is stop screaming at me while I packed up my stuff to leave his place. But no. He took that as his cue to be as abusive as possible. Many of these police, they get off on what they do. Police departments, it used to be that they had an application, they had 1 or 2 job openings and thousands of people would show up. Now nobody wants to be a cop. The ones that do are bullies. They have to take whoever they can get to fucking fill out an application. Even if that person was removed from another department for assaulting people. I was made homeless because of Natalie's death. I didn't have any money because the people that I was staying with before Natalie died stole all my money. And then people want to treat me like shit because they sent me money and their money didn't do any good. Of course it doesn't do any good. Kind of like up there at Lana and Amanda's. They had a printer, I had a computer, but I didn't have access to my Facebook. It was do what Lana wanted or she would snap at me and treat me like shit, and she did that every morning. There was maybe 1 or 2 mornings while I was up there that she wasn't like that. I needed Miss Jerry's help while I was up there, but she didn't have time. And then when she decided that she was going to spend 3 days at Miss Lana's to help me out, she made 0 effort to help me out. She sat there at the table with Miss Lana. And they talked about other people. What terrible people all these other people are, like Bradley Dollinger. When I was back up there this year to get my computer, guess who had my computer? Bradley Dollinger. The very same man that they had spent almost the whole time I was there talking shit about. What a terrible person he is for what he did to a single mother, and how they will never again speak to him. A lot of people said, hey, Sean, I'll make a report, and they didn't. They made 0 effort. A lot of those people, immediately after saying that, they blocked me. But I come to find out that a lot of the people who blocked me, they didn't block me. They don't understand how it is that I ended up being blocked. That's because the police have access to that. They were able to get a court order last year allowing them in to do whatever it is that they want in there. I was hoping that Shelley was a decent person and that Danica was a decent person, and they're not. They're terrible people. I fully support Natalie's choice to die. I fully support it. I believe she was right in doing so because knowing what I know about her family, her pain was never going to end. Knowing what I know about my family, my pain will never end either.